I also want to bring in Bill Cannon, if I can. He's a retired NYPD homicide detective sergeant, former instructor as well at the NYPD criminal investigation course, also co-host of the podcast Police Off the Cuff, a podcast I've been on with him. Okay, so big question for you. A report that just came in, Bill, in the last little bit is that the police were using an excavator to do what Laura just reported, and that is scoop everything around the site of that backpack. I'll ask the control room to put that picture back up of the backpack sitting on the ground where they spotted it in Central Park, courtesy of ABC News. But Bill, I did not expect that. I didn't expect them to scoop up the entire earth around the backpack, but talk me through that.
Well, actually, they don't want to touch that backpack at all because one of the things that could be on there could be a palm print from the perpetrator. We've had the homicides where perpetrators left their palm print and it's not visible to the naked eye. Any forensic evidence that's on that needs to be protected. So no one wants to contaminate this piece of evidence, which is so important. That's why they lifted it up and it wasn't touched by any human hands by the NYPD. And that's the proper way to process it, to protect the evidence that's both on the outside of it, and obviously they didn't open it up. Look, chances are the gun's in there because this guy, he was on escape mode. He did this dirty deed and now he wants to get away. So that would explain why he got rid of this bag. He didn't throw it haphazardly. He hid it behind some rocks. But he's on getting away mode right now. He just killed somebody, and he took great care to cover his face, to not be seen. He reconned the location. He was here for 10 days. We know that when he got here on the 24th, he arrived in New York City, I think it was at 10:11 p.m. by a bus. He went right to the Hilton Hotel. So he started his reconnaissance immediately upon arrival in New York City. How much time did he spend reconning this job he was going to do, and how much research?
Well, that's a great question.
I believe a ton of it.
Let me ask you. Yeah, I want to ask you about that because this has been a big topic for identifying him and maybe getting him without face coverings, more so than the one picture that we've had released to us. If he was in the city for 10 days, and like you said, I didn't hear that report, that he got right off that bus and went right to the Hilton Hotel. But my guess is that there is ample evidence, video evidence, doorbell cam, car forward-facing cams, surveillance pictures, security camera video of that person in a whole lot of New York sites all around where the murder and the getaway happened. Why are they not releasing more pictures then of his face? This is good, but not great.
Well, this picture right here taken from the hostel, that may be the very best photo that he had. They said even when he was in the hostel, he covered his face and he didn't speak to anyone, because I wanted to know right away, did he have an accent? Did he have a regional accent? Did he have a foreign accent? Did he have an Italian, a French accent? Because that could be important in identifying where he's from. However, it seems like he didn't talk very much. So even the two roommates, I think that they couldn't say what he sounded like talking because I don't think he spoke to them.
Yeah, so one other question that a report, Bill, has just come in also that the police are close to ruling out a tip that the shooter left by airplane. In a city like New York, where there are untold airports, not just the three big ones, but there's White Plains and there's New Haven. I mean, there's just so many regional airports, so many places you could get a subway, Metro North, even a cab or an Uber to. How quickly and what power does the NYPD have to narrow down that kind of information fast?
Well, firstly, they would call the Port Authority police that patrols and controls security at the airports. And they get his picture out. Obviously, they can do that electronically, and that we're looking for this, almost like an all points bulletin type thing. But I would think he would be extremely reluctant to travel by air, since his photo was all over the place. And when you travel by air, you have to present good identification. And so I would think he'd be very reluctant. And that is why he came to New York City via bus. And apparently he left New York City via bus too. The other thing is the look, when you went up to the Port Authority on 178th Street and Broadway, look, potentially they know about what time he got there. So they can narrow it down. How many buses were leaving at around that time? Because he was getting his ass on a bus quick because he didn't want to hang out. He wanted to leave Dodge. So they could go into those.
Speaking of speed, I need to ask you something else. I want to ask our control room to show the pictures of this man walking down 55th Street before the murder. It's about 15 minutes before the murder, and he's walking actually the opposite way down 55th Street, and he's holding what seems to be a cup in his left hand. You only see a flash of it, but he's got something in his right hand that he puts into a pile of garbage. And I know that we're probably getting that video up pretty quickly, but the piles of garbage that are usually out on the sidewalks of New York, this isn't the one, unfortunately. Yeah, this isn't the video. I want to get our control room to show the pictures. It's from bullet point 8, if that's helpful, from the deli. This is the one. Watch what he does to that blue garbage can, the garbage pile. He turns and puts something just in the pile next to it. Bill, how quickly can New York City respond to something like that? Meaning, how long would it take them to get that video? How long would it take them to look through it and see that that happened? Would they be able to have circumvented the trash pickup in time to have gotten whatever it was he put in there?
You know, that's a very good question. We don't know how quickly they became aware of this video. You know, think of the voluminous amounts of video they had to retrieve going along his route. This is the first time I'm seeing this. So I don't know when of course they would search this garbage once they became apprised of it. Much more difficult once this garbage is picked up because then it goes on a commercial garbage truck.
Keep playing the video, by the way. I want the control room to keep playing the video because I looked at it about 30 times. I'm not kidding, 30 times. And maybe drop the banner, please, if we can, because what's happening is at the very beginning, watch what's in his left hand as he comes into frame. You could just see the coffee cup in his left hand as he comes into frame. See it? Just a flash of it. But his right hand never comes up until he brings it up a little and then he moves, turning and puts something with his right hand into that white trash pile. I'm so fascinated by this one video. I keep thinking that there's got to be so much forensic evidence there. Whether it's the cup, I don't know if he transferred it into his right hand where we couldn't see it. But there's something, and whether they got to it in time. Listen, I'm all out of time, but I could talk to you forever, and I love your podcast, too. Bill Cannon, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for being on the show again. It's great to see you. I've been seeing you in a couple of years.
All right, we're going to do it again soon. Bill Cannon joining us live tonight on this Friday edition of Banfield.